It's Aaron, your favorite unfiltered mess. Spitting takes so raw, they'll make your grandma stress. Is this, that, and the other? Life, politics, the whole damn scene. Whatever crosses my mind, or whatever I saw on my screen. Woo! Movies to munchies, games to the grind. Interviews flowing, this is starting to sound like a date, ain't it? Dinner, drink, sports, wait, you buying? If not, tough luck, my opinion still flying. No script, no filter, just pure chaos bliss. I might offend your auntie or your therapist. Society's clown show, yeah, I'm ringing the bell. If it's stupid, it's sacred, well, it had to be said, what the hell? Buckle up, buttercup, the mic's getting reckless, I had to say it. Now, pass the tissues for the trigger.
So we're going to start out as we do every week by saying to Iceman Jason, Javier Fitz McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, to the guys from Mother Report, to Billy G, to Walt from the B-Rob Podcast, to Kate the Duchess of New Jersey, to Boomer Bob, to George Fonts of the World Blaze Podcast, to Josh from New Hampshire, to Bill of Clockham Craft Coffee, and to Lisa. Thank you guys for the continued support. It means the world to me, even though I continually have these inequitable things happening during the streams. Technology does not like me, apparently. Okay, it's another week. It's been more chicanery and dipshittery and stupidity coming out. And I've, as always, I have thoughts, things, opinions, feelings. So one of the biggest things that has happened in the past week, and there were a couple of them, but the thing that I want to talk about first in terms of kind of relevance in my way of thinking of things is the Southern Poverty Law Center, a organization that has spent decades hollering out about how, rotten white people are and how prevalent white supremacy is in society, and constantly demonizing and blaming and pointing the finger and saying how they need to fundraise to fight all the demons and the evil white men that want to rule over the world and all this other shit. Well, they were brought up and indicted. A grand jury found that there was plenty of evidence to proceed that they are guilty of funneling hundreds of thousands of dollars to white supremacy groups, to funding the KKK and other organizations to basically create a boogeyman so they had a reason to fucking exist. You can't continuously graft money from people without a fucking demon to fight when you're one of these groups. And, a lot of this is another case of, tinfoil hats, 397,045 and 6, regular people 0. Because a lot of us have been saying for years that the SPLC was a corrupt, racist organization that was grifting people and doing their damnedest to keep the boogeyman of racism alive. And it turns out they weren't just trying to keep that fear where people were back and forth at each other, but they were actively funding actual racist groups. And they tried to defend the literally tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars they routed over the years to these groups as payments to informants so they could stay informed about what the activities of said racist hate groups. Now, the problem with that comes into play where if you're paying somebody who's in a position to influence the activities of said hate groups, you are no longer paying an informant, you're paying an agent. When you are guiding and steering their activities so you can have the outcome you desire, so you can justify your own fucking existence, that's an agent. That's not a fucking informant. When you are steering the course of these racist groups through direct suggestions by someone that's on your fucking payroll so you can get the outcomes you desire, you're, again, it's a straw man thing. It's you're stabbing it dark. You're realistically, like I said, they created their own boogeyman. They had to keep this specter of white supremacy alive and try and make it more prevalent in our society when it really, I've said it multiple times, Gen X had racism on the fucking ropes, and then the Democratic Party and the left-wing assholes have been doing everything they can to keep it alive, because without it, they'd actually have to be, effective members of society and have to perform. So it was kind of edifying for a lot of us to find out that the SPLC was indicted on charges of They weren't indicted on being hypocritical sacks of shit. That's just sort of the after effect of finding out that everything we've been saying for years actually was true. and they were actually funding racism, but they were actually indicted on wire fraud charges, because when they're using shell companies to pay their quote unquote informants, they have to do it in a legal manner, and they weren't, because they really weren't trying to, actually do any good in the world other than justify their own fucking existence. So, what can you do? So that was the first thing that happened. That was pretty relevant, pretty significant. The next thing that happened was the White House, the press corps conference dinner thing was this past weekend. And in another case of, the just utter disconnection from reality and really just showing how pathetic they are, another leftist retard decided to take a shot at the president, decided to rush the White House press conference dinner, and did it in the most retarded leftist kind of way possible. This motherfucker literally loaded up a couple of California compliant weapons, got a whole bunch of stabbies, and Leroy Jenkins his way right through the front gate. Didn't make it to the fucking room that the White House press conference was being held in. Didn't, have any sort of effect or impact other than winding up buck naked, stripped down, and zip tied on the fucking carpet in this fucking hotel. Now, there's a couple things about it, and there's people out there that are already screaming that it's a fucking false flag. It's Trump staged another assassination attempt to distract from all the fuckery that's going on with his administration. I just got a notification that says frozen. No shit, it's frozen. But theoretically, it's recording at least, so I got that going for me. What are these notifications trying to tell me? But okay, that's weird. Just got a notification popped up. So anyway, lost my train of thought. Yeah, so this absolute fucking retard bought a couple of guns in California, rode the train across the country so he didn't have to try and smuggle them onto an airplane, and then rode a train across the country from California to DC, then, assembled his firearms and his arsenal in a closet just off of the main hallway. And like I said, again, a lot of people are sitting there saying there's a case of, this was planned and this was staged and this is Trump trying to fake another assassination, because the same people a lot of people are saying every other assassination attempt on this guy has been faked. I, for one, don't believe that. I genuinely believe that a lot of these mentally ill fucktards that are hard lefties genuinely think they're the main character and they're going to be the one to actually take him out, which I just don't see it happening. And I don't necessarily think the guy's got fucking plot armor, but I do think that these fucking people are fucking wildly inept. This most recent attempt was done by a California teacher. Fucking shocking, right? Some leftist retard teacher apparently didn't have the brain cells to properly orchestrate a proper assassination attempt. And his plan was to take out the big guy and as many of his cabinet members as possible, but notably not Kash Patel for some fucking reason, which I don't understand. I haven't actually read his manifesto. He has a fucking manifesto out there. It's out there making the fucking rounds. It's convenient there's always a manifesto for these fucking wackadoos, but this guy definitely, I don't have a problem believing it, because again, this guy gave everything I've read about him in the very minor amount of time I've been able to dedicate to looking at stuff on the internet. Dude really gave off failed theater kid vibes who believed he was the main character. He's a fucking stroke. He's a retard. He had retarded California compliant guns, which meant they were much less of a threat than anybody wants to really paint them as. He had a bunch of knives. Who did he think he was? The fucking Joker? He's going to get in there all close and personal and start stabbing people? Just here, stabby, 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 stabby. I'm sorry, but he was not a physically imposing guy, and there were people in that audience who I really would have put money on fucking him up if they managed to make it through the initial gunfire. But again, he had a shitbox Turkish 380 and a fucking Remington 12 gauge. That, again, California compliant, which means you could only put 3 in the fucking pipe, or three in the magazine, 1 in the fucking pipe. These people are fucking retarded. He had a little side bandolier thing that held like another 6 shells. So you got to figure, outside instance, this guy had maybe 25 rounds, and yeah, even if he killed one person with each round, he's not going to get everybody with those things. So what's he going to do? Start stabbing people and then have some fucking Secret Service guy jam his fist so far up his ass that he gets to use them like a retarded fucking puppet? Just really poorly thought out shit. And according to the manifesto, he was, fully prepared that he was going to die doing this. He was going to die in the name of fucking stopping the evil Nazi bad man. Orange Jesus needed to be struck down, and he was going to be the one to do it, and he was fully prepared to die. To which, and I'm not trying to say this in any sort of a manner that might be encouraging to these fucking leftist retard clown show motherfuckers, but it's like they all seem to have the same like delusion of grandeur. Like, I'm going to give up I'm ready to give up my life for the cause, and the world will be a better place when I take Orange Jesus out, because I have the IQ of a fucking amoeba and I can only focus on one thing at a time. And obviously all that's wrong in the world will be fixed if we just get rid of this one evil bad man who our leaders have told us is the source of the problem. It's the guy that has been in office for a cumulative 6 fucking years that caused everything that's wrong with the world. My life sucks because of this orange man bad. I can't buy a home because orange man bad. I can't fucking have a life because Orange Man bad. Nobody wants to touch my pee-pee because Donald Trump's in fucking office. Nobody wants to acknowledge that I'm a special, unique snowflake because Donald Trump is in office, and Orange Man bad, and all the wrong things in the world stem from Orange Man bad. And these fucking retards that get activated, triggered, however you want to fucking look at it, by these things and think they're going to change the fucking world by taking out one fucking person, these just weak-minded, self-important sacks of shit. I shouldn't be trying to criticize their competence because they don't have any, but I shouldn't, and let's face it, none of them are ever going to hear me talking, so it's not like I'm going to be coaching them in any sort of meaningful way, but these motherfuckers are disingenuous on so many fucking levels, and they are so half-assed and retarded about things. And when I look at these things, there's assassination attempts and they're trying to kill Trump and they're really serious about it. And yes, there are a bunch of mentally ill leftist retards out here screaming about everybody that doesn't agree with them needs to die. Everybody is a Nazi. Everybody's a fascist. Everybody's a bad person. And they find themselves in positions of trying to influence society because they actually carry no weight or meaning. So that's how they're drawn to these fucking areas where they can be influencing little children. That's why they want to be around the kids, because anybody with an iota of fucking developed forward lobe realizes how utterly retarded these motherfuckers are, except for other utterly retarded motherfuckers. And I really do believe it's a fucking mental illness at this point. It's symptomatic. It should be at this point. Registering as a Democrat automatically gets you put on a list that you're fucking retarded. And, I'm sure they say the same thing about anyone who doesn't register as a Democrat, because in their minds, they're the fucking chosen people. They're the right ones and everybody else is wrong. And I look at it from a stance of this. I mean, everybody knows I don't really favor either side. I think either side is fucking retarded in their own special, unique way. Howsoever, I have a bigger problem with the fucking left for multiple reasons, not the least of which being they are incapable of dealing with their fucking issues like adults, and that pisses me the fuck off. I can't stand these smooth-brained, slack-jawed, fucking knuckle-dragging pieces of shit who think they're better than you, think they're smarter than you, think they're fucking somehow more elite than anyone else because they're obviously more elevated, because otherwise how did they come to these amazing dysfunctional conclusions that would work if the rest of society was more evolved like they are? These fucking retards that can't handle their shit without resorting to fucking violence or juvenile tactics like sticking their fingers in their fucking ears, la 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 la, I can't fucking hear you. It's like I had some troglodyte on fucking X today. I made a comment on a post from a politician basically saying, well, you're liberals and you're a bunch of retards and you still think you should be dictating terms to the right, and fuck you, you don't get that. And somebody immediately responded to me saying, and I said, the right's a bunch of ineffectual swamp rats, otherwise they wouldn't be letting you get away with it. You're all worthless. And this dumb bitch responds to me like, "Oh, well, do you even hear yourself? You said it was everybody was on board with this, and it's the Speaker of the House not letting the things progress, and blah 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 blah. What do you know?" And then immediately blocks me, so I can't respond to the stupid fucking comment. Nothing says I have a lot of conviction in my ideas than making sure you can't be refuted or have to actually defend your fucking stance. And that's how these motherfuckers are, and that's why I hate them. These retards who cannot function because their ideology is so fucking weak that it can't coexist with divergent thoughts. It can't exist with anything other than itself. It has to be fully homogenous or it will fucking fail. So their solution to everything is fucking violence and fucking just ignoring it and pretending it's not the case and hoping it goes away. That is not how developed functioning adults deal with shit. That is fucking toddler bullshit, and it's fucking infuriating. So if people ask me, Aaron, why do you bag so much more on the left than the right? Because they are the ones doing this shit. The instant the right starts resolving everything by, hey, you know what? If you don't agree with me, you should be killed. Then I'll start having the same comments for them. But when I've got video after video, and by the way, thanks, Jamingo, for that, video after video after video of these fucking retards screaming that why did you miss? Why don't people know how to shoot? How do they keep missing this motherfucker? When you are out here actively campaigning for the death of someone because they hold a set of beliefs you don't fucking like, because your ideology can't hold up to their life, to them existing, because they don't agree with you, your answer is to kill them. And these fucking retards, it's not like they're just talking about Orange Jesus when they say this shit. Anybody who voted for him should be put in a camp. Anybody who voted for him should, I want to start seeing people hanging from trees. Why are we not just killing these motherfuckers? When we get back in power, they're going to all fucking pay. It's weak-minded, undeveloped mental bullshit, and they're all fucking retards, and I fucking hate them. I hate every last one of them. I hate every fucking purple-haired barista with a fucking bull ring through their nose. I hate every fucking sanctimonious asshole who's out there saying, oh, well, you know, once they kill him, everything will be better and it'll be fixed and my life will be fucking phenomenal all of a sudden and I'll be able to see my fucking naughty bits again for the first time since I was 12 because I'm a sad, lazy sack of shit that never gets out to do anything fucking active. So all I do is sit around and consume and fucking generate carbon dioxide, which the plants would need to survive if I wasn't busy pushing for forests to be cut down to put up solar farms because that's the only way we can stop climate change, you fucking retards. But yeah, so anyway, to go back to critiquing the fucking effectiveness of leftist assassination plots, I really don't understand how these fucking retards think this shit's going to go, because they're never very well thought out. They're never very well executed. That's one of the things that I don't understand, this mentality where they seem to think like the ones calling for violence are definitely the least fucking equipped to act violence. They're more than willing to do it, as it's been shown over and over again at this point. These assholes have no respect for life. They have no respect for fucking anything that's not them. So they realistically believe all their horrific shit is justified. We're just very fortunate that they're not fucking very good at it. And at some point, that may fucking change. That may shift. The fucking Antifa militant wing might actually get its shit together, and we may actually have a real fight on our hands. But as it sits at the moment, these fucking retards are so goddamn inept, and they want to act like they're committed to their fucking cause, but they always do it in these like self-defeating fucking pathetic ways. And, you know, they're seeing like, oh, well, I'm going to be a martyr, and I'm going to be celebrated by the fucking movement forever. You know, they're going to say my name right up there with Mao and with fucking Marx and with Lenin and Stalin, because those were all really great guys that these fucking retards idolize. So, but, you know, they're very lacking in fucking execution. And I know it's really a horrible thing to get hung up on, but that's the way my brain works. And since you're listening to my show, you have to listen to my fucking thoughts. And I don't understand this weak-minded shit where it's like, I'm going to get two of the probably least effectual weapons I could get my hands on by legally purchasing firearms in the state of California, which is just fucking stupid. It's one of the few places that have equally shitty gun laws. Happens to be the one I'm stuck in, but I can still make better choices than this fucking asshole did. And but that's neither here nor there. I've said it multiple times in multiple settings in multiple contexts. When people start talking about gun control and all this other stuff, what are you going to do when they come take your guns? First off, they ain't taking shit. I'm sorry. I am going to be one of those people. I will be a fucking headline before I will be a fucking slave. That's just the way it is. But B, I have said repeatedly, gun control is stupid because anybody with more than 2 functioning fucking brain cells could cause much more fucking damage than a mass shooter just by going to fucking Home Depot with a credit card. I personally, and maybe I'm wired differently. Maybe I'm smarter than the average bear. Maybe I'm fucking some special kind of psychopath where I know this shit, but I could go into a fucking any hardware store in the country, drop about $300, and I could take out a city fucking block if I was really committed to the bit. If I was willing to sacrifice my life in the name of the cause, I wouldn't be half-assing it like, oh, well, here, I'm going to take some guns and I'm going to go Leroy Jenkins my way past the Secret Service and hopefully I'll get through the doors and be able to squeeze off a couple shots and I'll be a legend to fucking retards for the rest of eternity because I did the impossible and took out Golden Jesus. No, I would have brought the fucking building down on top of him. And I'm not saying that in any sort of way like I think it's right. I think these fucking idiots deserve to be put under the fucking jail. Put them in Gem Pop. Let them fucking toss salads for the next 25 fucking years. But it might not be a punishment for that guy. I don't know. He looked like he might be into some weird shit. He kind of looked like he might have had a boner when they had him stripped naked and zip tied. So I'm just saying. And he was a California teacher, which means he likes being around kids. So he probably really did enjoy getting his fucking jollies off from the fucking hallway carpet. But again, I digress. And believe me, if anybody happens to put this out there, AI that scans through podcasts, I am not encouraging this fucking behavior in any way, shape, or form. I am not saying I have any intentions of doing it. I don't want feds showing up at my house, sticking a glove up my ass, looking for things that they can't find because they know they're not there. They're just doing it to fucking humiliate me. I'm not encouraging it. I think it's fucking retarded. I think it's the last resort of a fucking deranged and desperate mind to want to put yourself in a position of I'm going to kill a bunch of fucking people in the name of my ideology because my ideology can only survive if these people don't. It's fucking pathetic. But anyway, and all that being said, these same fucking retards that are sitting there thinking killing Orange Man Jesus is going to fucking solve all their fucking problems are the same knuckle-dragging fuckstains who don't have a single solitary problem with the actual fucking career lifelong parasites. These motherfuckers who have been in DC longer than they've been alive, suckling at the teeth. The ones that actually put the problems in place. The ones who pass the fucking unbalanced budgets. The ones who decide where the fucking money is going. The ones who are the reason we are taxed into fucking poverty. The ones the reasons that our paychecks are inflated away. The actual fucking criminals in this nation, which are being completely ignored by anybody in any kind of position to do anything about it, because when the governing body is responsible for governing itself, of course it turns a blind eye to its own fucking corruption. Which kind of brings me to the next thing I was going to touch on, which is last week, Kash Patel made an announcement of a bunch of stuff the FBI did. And, some of it was pretty all right. Some of it was kind of meh. And one thing that stood out in my mind is they arrested a guy that was a Green Beret on the Special Forces team that yoinked Maduro. Now, I take a lot of issue with this. Yes, there's a bad thing about OPSEC because he made a $30,000 bet 24 hours before they went in and yoinked Maduro, saying that the U.S. was going to yoink Maduro on Kalashi, which is probably one of those things. Maybe we shouldn't allow betting on everything on the fucking planet. But they tried to say it was like, yes, it's shitty OPSEC. He doesn't deserve to go to prison for it. You know why? Because there are a fucking 400 insider trading assholes on Congressional Hill every goddamn day that are doing so much worse than him, betting on policies by buying stocks in companies that are affected by laws they're going to pass. These worthless sacks of shit are allowed to do it with impunity, but apparently when a Green Beret does it, it's a huge fucking problem. And Kash acted like he was really proud of himself for arresting this fucking guy. And honestly, I think that was a bad look. It was a bad flex. He should have he should have gotten yelled at for violating OPSEC and smacked on the PV, but he doesn't need to go to prison for that. And they should have let him keep the money because he got like $400,000 for his bet. So I mean, honestly, what'd he do? He bet on his team to be able to do the job. I don't necessarily see that as a problem. I do see it as an OPSEC leak, and that's probably not a good thing because I'm sure there's some Chinese fucker out there monitoring international betting to see what people are betting on and saying, hey, well, this might be something we should look at. But beyond that, like I said, I really don't think he deserves prison time for doing something that is absolutely, way less significant than what the fucking parasites in Congress are doing every fucking day. I mean, we're talking millions and billions of dollars in insider trading and fraud, and nothing happens, no consequences. And Kash is out there trying to thump his chest and like, hey, look, I'm doing a good job. Meanwhile, not a single insider trading arrest, not a single, prosecution for any of the corruption or fraud or anything that was exposed by Doge or any of the fucking USAID bullshit or any of the other shit. Now, to address something that actually happened today, And I saw a post about it this morning when I was taking a little breather at work, that the city of Minneapolis official X account made a post saying there are law enforcement actions going forth in the city today. We are not involved in this. We are not providing support or aid to the federal agencies that are doing the things they're doing. Basically, the city of Minneapolis said, we don't have anything to do with what's going on. And the feds finally raided the Leering Center. And there were like 22, 23 other raids as well. All the stuff that Nick Shirley exposed in his little expose on Somali fraud in Minnesota finally got raided by the fucking feds, 22 weeks later. Not like they had any kind of time to hide shit or clean shit up or do anything about that. Now, granted, they probably didn't, because the average Somali has the IQ of fucking pond scum. And a lot of people are, oh, well, you're racist for saying that. No, it's actually a statistically proven fact. The average Somali IQ is 68. And just for anybody that's unsure about how IQ tests work, which, a lot of people say, well, they're racially biased. They're biased towards people that, don't have their cousins as parents. People that don't, people that learned how to read, that IQ tests are biased towards those motherfuckers. No, those are the things you can do when you're not fucking retarded. The threshold for being clinically, medically retarded is 80 for an IQ. The fact that 68 for the average Somali tells you something. The fact that the federal government is being ripped off by motherfuckers with IQs lower than paste eaters really tells you there's a lot of complicity in DC that deserves to be rooted out by the fucking feds and the DOJ. But the DOJ would rather stick their thumb up their ass and arrest a Green Bay for betting on his team. Or Green Bay, a Green Beret. Fuck, that came out weird. So anyway, not impressed by Cash, not impressed by any of these motherfuckers, not really too thrilled. I mean, yeah, great. They're finally looking into the fraud in Minnesota. Hurrah. If anything comes from it, I'll be fucking shocked. If anybody of any actual import faces charges, I will be flabbergasted. I will be floored. But in a funny thing, Tampon Timmy did speak up later on today and say, well, this is what happens when the local authorities work with the federal agents, and there were multiple arrests in cases of fraud in Minnesota today. And he's trying to take credit for shit he literally 2 weeks ago was saying he wouldn't stand by and allow to happen. These fucking retards, I swear to Christ, they're so fucking dumb. They're so disingenuous, and their side eats it up and laps that shit up like it's fucking manna from heaven. And I'm not gonna do the seal noise, but we all know what it means. I know that makes Kate happy. I just don't have it in me to do it today. I'm still adjusting to my new life, and again, it's part of the reason I don't have much really prepared. So again, my apologies. It's just a little kind of stream of consciousness ranty today. Nah, I don't know how that's different from any other fucking night. Who am I kidding? And I would just like to highlight my weathered report beverage koozie. I will give the weathered report a shout out before I will give any random beverage company that does not sponsor this show. So yeah, I've been rethinking my approach to that. No more free shout outs for anybody except for Clockum Craft Coffee. That's right. COLOCKUMCRAFT.COFFE. Clockum Craft Coffee. Use code WSMG to show them that you support independent media. And I don't know if there's any discounts or anything this month, because I have not been able to be on Road Rage 101 in the morning because I am at work in the morning now. I get up in an ungodly hour. I'm out before the sun is up. I curse the sun as I drive into it, and it's, yeah, I don't know how people live like this. I got really pampered being unemployed, I guess. I mean, yeah, being unemployed sucks. Not being able to pay your bills is a bitch. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get out of the hole I'm in. But at the end of the day, yeah, no, getting up in the morning shit's for the birds. But other than that, I actually, new job's not a bad thing. It's got potential. It may be a good thing. There's a lot going on there. I don't want to go too deeply into it because I like to keep my work life and everything else separate from each other as much as humanly possible. And let's be honest, they may not like it if they found out I do this shit for fun. But again, I'm on my own time. I'm not representing the company in any way, shape, or form, and everything I say is protected under the First Amendment because just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not true. And yeah, it's, things are what they are. I'm not overly concerned about it. Looks like my computer's freezing up again. Maybe I need to get more RAM or something. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it's something Lisa mentioned a little bit ago. James Comey has been indicted again, this time for his 8647 post that he made when he was walking down the beach and made rocks into the numbers that said 8647, which, was a popular leftist thing going for a while. That, yeah, I mean, 86 means we're out of something, or it means cancel something, but it also means whack in certain vernacular. And 8647 became a very popular rallying cry for the fucking leftist retards. A lot of whom I kind of took some issue with them throwing a case of, restaurant lingo into their fucking vernacular, because the vast majority of libtard retards that exist today would not be able to function in a real kitchen. And I'm saying that with a case of, I came up through the ranks. I did things the hard way. I've been working in kitchens my entire freaking life. And it's like, realistically, no, it's not a place. It's not a safe space. It's not a soft place. And the ones that are fucking pathetic. That's where you're paying $19 for fucking avocado toast because it's some, everyone here deserves a living wage. And we all believe in using our ethically sourced organic, papayas and mangoes to make our fucking sweetbread that we're going to toast to make your avocado, your artisanal craft avocado with non-GMO, gluten-free fucking soy stock. And it's made by Moonbeam and Rainbow. And I fucking hate them. I hate them. I mean, now there's nothing wrong with, treating each other with dignity and respect as long as it's warranted. And I say that with the caveat of, as long as it's warranted means as long as you act like you deserve to be treated like an adult, you should be treated like an adult. As long as you keep your personal shit out of your fucking work performance, it should remain that. It should remain your personal shit. How you choose to live your life when you're not on the fucking clock is nobody's fucking business except your fucking own. And as long as you leave your bullshit outside of the halls of work, you should be treated as a fucking professional. That being said, the instant you decide to drag your bullshit behind you like a cat with a can tied to its fucking tail, you deserve whatever bad shit happens to you. And I firmly believe that. If you can't take the fucking heat, you should fucking keep your fucking shits to yourself so you can stay safe in your own little fucking head. And yeah, I have to go through sensitivity training and a bunch of other shit for my current job, which, yeah, I get it. But, a lot of people may find this hard to believe, but when I'm actually working, I'm extremely professional. I keep, my language professional. I keep my behavior professional because that's what a professional fucking does, which is something these fucking purple-haired retards don't seem to understand. Your job is not your platform. Your job is not your social circle. Your job is not where you go to make yourself heard and to make your impact on the world, to change the world to be what you want it to be. Your job is where you go to make fucking money and to do a fucking job. Unless your job happens to be professional agitator or professional protester or any of the other fucking retarded shit that seems to be out there for people to do these days, then your job is to do whatever you're being paid to do. All that other superfluous shit that these fucking retards want accommodation for has no fucking place in a professional environment. I don't understand how that's controversial or why people think that, but they think that it is controversial. It's really fucking not. It's pretty fucking basic. Go to work, do your job, shut the fuck up. It's not that hard. If I, with all my blathering, raging bullshit, can be a fucking professional when I'm at work, if I can keep my fucking mouth in check, if I can not call people stupid motherfuckers while I'm on the clock, so can you. If I can show that amount of restraint and decorum and professionalism, it can't be that fucking hard because I'm lazy. It's just these assholes don't think they should have to, and it drives me fucking nuts. I need to get back in the gym, I think. I think the Beatus is coming back. It's back with a vengeance. It's making me thirsty all the time. Then I got to pee 97 times every day because of how thirsty I am. I'm sure that's way more information than anybody wants, but I don't know. It's a funny thought to me. Like, I don't know why I pee so much. I drank 1.5 gallons of fucking water today, but I pee all the time. Well, maybe it's because those morons that drink 1.5 gallons of water at the gym are sweating their asses off, and that's why they're not peeing so much. When you're drinking 1.5 gallons of water because you saw somebody do it because they said it was healthy, and all you do is fucking sit. Yeah, you don't really need to hydrate nearly as much. I mean, hydration's important, but so is fucking movement. If you're a fucking couch slug, which I know I look like a couch slug, but I'm actually not. I'm actually fairly active. I couldn't tell you the last time I got under 10,000 steps in one fucking day since I've started this job. I mean, that includes, every day. I mean, Saturday, Sunday, I don't get days off anymore. I have things going on the side to try and facilitate my little project. which means Saturday and Sunday are other work days. Just not at my primary employment position, but at my secondary employment position. So, I'm a busy fucking guy. Let's see in the chat. Lisa said 97's fine. 98's when you need to go to the doctor. Okay, that's good to know. I'll keep that benchmark in mind. Have to be monitoring my tinkling more closely, I guess. But anywho's, it's yeah. So, like I said, Comey was indicted again. I think it's going to be the exact same fucking nothing burger that the last one was. I am skeptical that anyone of any actual significance will ever face anything resembling justice under the current system. A lot of people were expecting big things from this administration, and yes, Lisa, I should track it on my Garmin. And then everybody that I'm friends with on the Garmin app could realize every time I tink a tinkle, and I'm pretty sure very quickly I would start getting messages like, "Dude, you need to go see a doctor." But anyway. Yeah, it's almost like, you can track just about anything on a Garmin. You could even theoretically track when you're taking a dump in the morning. I don't know what kind of sicko would do that sort of thing, but it's theoretically possible. And anywho, I derailed my own train of thought again. Oh yeah, so Comey, Comey's brought up on charges again. They're like, oh well, this was an active threat against the president. Well, Sure it was. And he was in a position where his threats may carry a little more weight than your average person. And they indicted people for doing the same thing about Biden, saying things about Biden. I mean, not nearly as blatant as 86 Biden, but, same fucking general thought process. I've got my order in for the spices to start putting the blends together. The Kickstarter finally came through, gave me the money. I already mentioned that. I bought some of the stuff for the office supplies side of things that I need to, get this business rolling. And, so we're going to hopefully start going into production in a week or two. And then I will get everybody who is signed up for the Kickstarters their samples. And, I have to get all the labels printed and the USDA, FDA spice, like the nutritional labels that go on the back because the regulations for these things are actually pretty simple, realistically. I mean, certain like garlic, onion, pepper, paprika, and a couple other ones have to actually be listed individually, but everything else can just be listed as spices. If you look at the bottle of pretty much anything you buy, salt has to be in there, but there's not salt in most of the blends. There's salt in a couple of them, but not all of them. So, but those things all have to be listed individually, and then everything else can be kind of lumped in under spices. So it's, but yeah, so I got to get those printed up too, so I can slap them on there, because I don't want to be I don't want to open myself up to any sort of fucking litigation or fucking, vulnerability. At least not until I can afford lawyers, and then fuck it, then it's their problem. Yeah, that's actually really pretty much all I've got in the tank at the moment. I still don't have any real podcast promos, which I'm very disappointed in. Seeing as I know about a third of my listeners, easily a third of my listeners are podcasters, it would be really phenomenal if you fuckers would get off your asses and send me some promos so I can stick them in at this part instead of sitting here talking like an asshole while I try and remember what I was going to do for a recipe and try and open up time for the chat to say something. Because like I said, even though I need... I have the chat where I can see it much better than I used to be able to. There's still a lag. I'm working on some ways to get around that. I think if I switch over to StreamYard, they have a real-time chat thing. I could be wrong too. I'm not entirely sure. It's got something to do with the back and forth between the streaming service and YouTube. I don't know if the problem's a YouTube thing or if it's a StreamYard thing or a Restream thing or whatever, but I'm working on ways around that. And I'm probably, as much as I hate to subtract from my views, because those 4 views I get during most of these live streams are really pushing me towards monetization, which is ultimately the goal of this is to get podcast famous and retire, because that's going to happen. And for the people on the audio version, I just did a big stupid face and a thumbs up. Maybe I'll make that the show art this week. Why not? Start slapping my face on it instead of an AI gorilla every week. No, it'll still be the AI gorilla. But yeah, so speaking of things, here I got something I'm gonna say. And if I am asked to remove it, I will. But if you are on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, go follow Lisa's account. She's getting real close to hitting some real numbers. I'm thoroughly impressed with this woman's performance on there, where she might be able to monetize. So good for her. It's funny shit. She's very witty. She's very. I cannot encourage you enough. It will be fun for you. She is. Don't ask her for feet pics, but other than that, yeah, go follow her. I will put a link in the show notes to her account with her permission, of course. If she doesn't want me to do that, I'll take this entire blurb out before I publish the audio episode, and it'll only be for the 3 people that watch this on YouTube. And yeah, let's see. Ken said he'll put something together this weekend. That would be great, Ken. I gotta reach out to Harkos too, because he was gonna work with me on the website, so I don't have to drive myself crazy trying to do that shit, because he knows what he's doing, and I'm still trying to figure things out. Anybody who goes to ihadtosayitpodcast.com can understand how really not great I am at doing websites, because that's all me, baby. Everything that's wrong with that is all me. So, okay. Anyway, so that being said, we're gonna go do the recipe for this week. I actually have one this week. We're not going to rehash last week's recipe of how to make artisanal water. I'm sorry. I thought that shit was funny. Anyway, this week we are going to do a bacon jam. Now, bacon jam, sweet, savory, it's phenomenal. It's really good for, hors d'oeuvres, and it's delicious on burgers and all kinds of other shit. So, yeah, this is a bacon jam recipe. I've been using it in catering functions and restaurant functions for years. And it's delicious, and I encourage you to try it. It makes a lot. This makes like a quart. You could probably dial it back a little bit, cut it in half, make a pint. And anyway, but yeah, I'm going to give you the full-size recipe because I don't feel like doing math right now. My brain hurts. So the recipe is 3 pounds of bacon, 1.5 pounds of diced white onion, 2 ounces of minced garlic, 8 ounces of apple cider vinegar, 32 ounces of brewed coffee. You want strong coffee. I suggest using Clockham Craft coffee for this. Let's see. 1 pound of brown sugar, 6 ounces of maple syrup, 16 ounces of Jim Beam, 1 ounce of cumin, 4 ounces of Dijon mustard, and 16 ounces of apricot preserves, which is like, 1 full small jar. So anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to dice up your onion. You're going to chop it up as small as you feel comfortable doing it. The smaller, the better, because this is something where you don't want big chunky pieces of bacon. You want fine chopped little minced bacon. I mean, realistically, if you really wanted to get crazy with it, you could pulse it a couple of times on a food processor and then scoop it out and dump it in there. But you don't want to overdo with that, because then you're going to wind up getting this fatty bacon paste, which is really not what you're going for. But anyway, you're going to put the bacon into a large, heavy-bottomed pan, whether it's a saucepan or a small stock pan, depending on whatever you have available at the time. But it's good, thick bottom is important on this. Cast iron's phenomenal for this if you have it. And you're going to render that bacon. You're going to brown it. You're going to stir it constantly while it's browning to render all the fat out of the bacon and have the meat part get crispied. Then you're going to scoop that out with a slotted spoon, leaving the rendered fat in the pan. And then what you're going to want to do is have the heat like medium lowish, and you're going to put in that 1.5 pounds of chopped white onion, and you're going to caramelize it. It's going to be a slow process. It's over medium low heat. It's going to go brown as you stir it occasionally over and over again, browning and browning and browning and browning and browning and browning. But you don't want it burned. You want it browned. You want it to be lovely golden colored. I mean, caramelizing shit is an art, and to do it right takes time and commitment. So you're going to caramelize your onions, and then you are going to, after the onions are caramelized, you don't want to do it ahead of time, because the thing about using fresh garlic is when you have the 2 ounces of fresh minced garlic, if you put that in at the start with the onions, the shit's going to be burned before the fucking onions are caramelized. And you don't want, once you get that burnt onion flavor in there, you can't, or burnt garlic flavor in there, you can't get rid of it. It's shit. You're going to taste burnt regardless. You won't see it because the caramelized onions will hide the color, but it will taste, it will be ass. So don't do that. So then after you have added your minced garlic and browned that a little bit in your caramelized onions, Then you're going to add in, you're going to deglaze the pan with your cider vinegar. You're going to pour the 8 ounces of cider vinegar right in there, get all the stuck fond bits off of the bottom of your pan. Then you're going to add in your 32 ounces of brewed coffee, your 1 pound of brown sugar, the 6 ounces of maple syrup, the 16 ounces of Jim Beam, 1 ounce of cumin, and that's 1 ounce by weight, not by volume. I don't know why it's the only thing that's in here by weight, but I don't know. Anyway, 1 ounce is approximately 1.5 teaspoons. So anyway, 1 ounce of cumin, 4 ounces of Dijon mustard. You're going to, just like I said, you're going to put all of this shit in the pan together. You're going to mix it until it's nice and smooth. It's going to be extremely liquidy at this point, and you are going to turn it down to low heat, and you are going to reduce the ever-loving fuck out of it. You are going to simmer it until all the moisture evaporates out of it, and it becomes like a jelly. That's why it's bacon jam. It's the consistency of jam. It's going to be thick and spreadable. And you want to do it slowly. You don't want to do it fast. You don't want to do it at a boil, because if you do that shit, there's a much more realistic chance that some of the stuff is going to sink to the bottom and scorch to the bottom of your pan and make it taste like burnt shit. This is one of those artisanal things. This is actual chefing. This is shit you will do that will impress people if you feed it to them, if you have done it right. And if you have done it wrong, they're going to look at you like you're a fucking mongoloid and you should not be allowed near fire. So anyway, like I said, and it's a good thing. Once it's reduced to approximately the consistency you're looking for, you remove it from the heat, you let it cool thoroughly, put it in the fridge. It'll keep for like 2 weeks to a month, depending. So, and it's a lot, but like I said, you're going to want to put it on stuff. It's good on burgers. It's good on, pork. It's good on breakfast stuff. It's good in a breakfast burrito. It's good on hors d'oeuvres. It's good on crostinis. It's good. It's good stuff. It's bacon jam. What's wrong with you? Why do you not like bacon jam? Why do you not love joy? So, hi, dog. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got. I guess I'll open up to the chat for a minute or two, see if you guys have anything else you want me to say. Lisa did mention she expects to hit the monetization mark this week. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. You guys, like I said, I will put the link to her account in the show notes if she wants me to. You should all go follow her and laugh as she says things to people that need to have things said to them, particularly pointing out stupidity and making funny memes. So since nobody has said anything else in the chat, I'm going to stick a pin in it and say for now, that's what I had to say.